Смотри, как катерок.
Я хочу подняться.
Как качает.
Working on this container ship. These large white cranes we're going under are called gantry cranes, and they are operated by one person at a time. These crane operators are highly skilled. They can move a container in about 60 to 90 seconds. They know where a container is going to go before they even touch it. Tight waterway and then push them up along the pier here. And Foss is a local tug company that started here in the 1880s, or the type of tug we see there on next to the container ship. And tugboats are kind of like sports teams. They all have very distinct colors. When we saw that barge going out to Alaska, it was white, blue, and yellow. That's Western tug. Foss tugs are black, white, and green. And it's just like sports teams, the colors they are wearing. If you can't read the text on them, you know right based on the colors what company they work for. And that goes back to way before we had technology to recognize boats way out at sea. Anyone that needed a tug would know they hired a certain company, so they would be looking for a certain color, and that's what they would try to match up with when they came into port. Hey guys, where the houseboats are, they're in the freshwater lake in Lake Union. So we don't see them on this tour, but you will see them on the Locks tour if you want to take that one. In Seattle, we see container ships ranging from 800 feet to 1,100 feet long. And if you remember, Randy mentioned our tallest building is 997 feet tall. So we get container ships in much larger than even our largest buildings. These container ships, we try to get out in 24 to 48 hours, a really quick turnaround here if we can. And the turnaround wasn't really happening for a long time here the last couple of years, as between port closures due to the pandemic, due to lack of workers at different ports, due to lack of truck drivers, and the Suez Canal blockage, worldwide shipping got hugely messed up, got set back years. And so it started to increase the price of shipping. Last summer we were reporting an all-time high that what used to cost you $1,800 for about 9 years there, from 2011 to March of 2020, cost you $1,800 to send one of these standard 40-foot containers that we're seeing here on our left from Shanghai to LA. And then last summer it reached an all-time high of about $6,000 to send that same container from Shanghai. Why there's at different ports you're only going to see 3 sizes of containers. That's been agreed upon by every port. Even the UN got involved and set a standard. We're going to have standard 40-footers. Off on our right, you'll see kind of bright blue containers. In between the 2 stacks of bright blue, you'll see a smaller container. That's going to be the 20-foot. That's going to be the smallest size shipped on container ships. So you have a 20-foot, a 40-foot, and the largest container shipped is a 45-foot, which has here in Seattle. Odds are you'll only see them here in Seattle unless you happen to frequent the Arctic or Antarctic. And that are these large red, white, and yellow vessels. These are 2 of the 3 U.S.'s icebreakers owned by the Coast Guard here. The one closest to us, number 20 Healy, she is part icebreaker, part research vessel. There's a large research lab on board. And they normally leave kind of midsummer to head up to the Arctic, where they'll go do research studies up north. Last summer they went through the North American Passage to Boston and then came back. One tucked a little further back. She's no longer in use. She's been mothballed, but her sister ship, or the one that looks just like her, is currently in San Francisco getting work done on her return trip home from doing work in the Antarctic. I mentioned earlier we had one last cruise ship to talk about, and that is going to be the Norwegian Sun. If you've been paying attention to news a little bit, or even boating news, this one was kind of a big talk of the town earlier this week as they ran into an icebreaker up in Alaska. Not an icebreaker, iceberg. Icebreaker's the boat. They ran into an iceberg, kind of a Titanic-like situation. It was much smaller on top and over 6 feet below the water. Luckily, it didn't do enough damage. They just kind of canceled the length of their cruise ship, brought everyone back home to Seattle, and now they're tied up here at Pier 45. You can see the barge there, a lot of workers. They're going to be doing a lot of little fixes on it to just make sure it is fully safe to then jump back into the cruise season. It was a really foggy day when they hit that iceberg, so it was kind of unexpected. Thankfully, not a whole Titanic-like situation, just a little bump in the night that they're now working on to get it all fully safe.